Hello and welcome to another episode of Satoshi's 365 Days of Bitcoin History. Today's day is Saturday the 23rd of December 2023, the year of BSV. Buy BSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online, the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Right, here we go. Let's see what happened in Bitcoin history today. In Bitcoin history, well, going right the way back to 1913. On this day in 1913, the Federal Reserve Act was signed into law. Now, it was this one act that has led to the political and economic devastation that we are facing today with the tyrannical, totalitarian, one world government trying to implement their power around the world, you know, obviously starting with the WHO and stuff like that. But you might be thinking, this is very strange. Like, why would they implement such a significant law, sign it into law, in such a peculiar date on the 23rd of December? Well, the reason being is because Congress was empty. There was no one there. So there was nobody there to object to this act. So all those people who organised it were just like, right, we'll just simply do this now. And nobody's going to object to it. Honestly, it was one of the most underhanded, evil acts that anybody could have perpetrated on the people. Because nobody wants a central bank. Because a central bank just simply breeds inequality because they're the only people who can print currency. And so, yeah, they just simply dish it out to their mates and their buddies and their friends to achieve their own ends. That's it. It causes massive devastation in society. So it says here, President Woodrow Wilson signed the Federal Reserve Act in December 1913, culminating 3 years of discussion and debate over the development of a central bank. And guess who wasn't there to object to it? Benjamin Guggenheim, Isidor Straus and Jacob Astor. And why was that? Because they were killed the previous year on the 15th of April 1912 when the Olympic that had been switched for the Titanic sank on purpose after it had been told to speed up and head full speed into an ice field of icebergs. You know, absolutely insane when you actually think about it. But Woodrow Wilson had written this in his book, The New Freedom. So just before this, he said that some of the biggest men in the field of commerce and in manufacture are afraid of something. He said there is a power somewhere so organised, so subtle, so watchful, so interlocked, so complete, so pervasive that they had better not speak above their breath when they speak in condemnation of it. He later expressed his regret for this power existing under him, but yeah, I think he was being manipulated by those around him. He had no idea about the ramifications of what he was actually doing here. I mean, this was absolutely devastating. So literally, the moment they signed this into law, again, when they've got carte blanche to just simply print currency, you then want to get involved in the industry that has the largest profit margins. And the largest profit margins is weapons manufacture because they're the most expensive consumable products. So it's no surprise that the First World War started literally in 1914, literally just a few months after this. And again, yeah, if you look at what caused World War I, there was no reason for it. There was no reason for it whatsoever. It was an absolute haberdashery, a complete mess. And the only point of this war was for this lot to accumulate currency by printing it, and the people wouldn't question it. And they owned all the weapons manufacturers that were supplying the military. That's all it was, just to simply build up a financial war chest. Then they carried on printing to finance the Roaring Twenties, rug pulled in 1929, and then used the war chest that they'd accumulated during World War I to buy up all the distressed corporations in America. That's what they've done. It's absolutely outrageous. And again, later, World War II, they would go on to steal all the gold from the European countries and then say to them, oh, look at that, you now no longer have enough gold in your banks to back the amount of currency you have in circulation because we've got it all. So that means your currency is very conveniently going to have to be backed by our currency, and it's our currency that's going to be backed by gold because we've got it all. And then 15th of August 1971, 100 years to the day after Albert Pike released his letter to Mazzini describing how 3 world wars would bring about a totalitarian one world government and new world order, Richard Nixon announced the Nixon shock, which basically pinned all the currencies to the US dollar, and the US dollar could literally print as much money as much currency as it wanted without any economic penalty because it wasn't competitive to the other currencies. So therefore, the central bank could be as reckless and as economically reckless and irresponsible as they liked without any economic penalty. Absolutely outrageous, and it all stemmed from this. Literally, World War One and World War Two were as a result of this. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So let's see what this says then. So so it says by staff of the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City. So President Wilson signed the Federal Reserve Act in 1923, painting by Walburg G. Kurtz. Okay, so he must have painted that in 1903 because it came into force in 1913. So it says, with the nation confronting another crisis in 1907, that would have been the bank run, and the United States, the only one of the world's major financial powers without a central bank, the nation was forced to turn to Wall Street. Financial mogul J.P. Morgan, who had bailed the government out of a financial crisis in 1895, organised private sector investments and lines of credit to stabilise the banking system amidst its latest panic. Recognising that the nation could not continue to rely on wealthy individuals to stem an economic and financial crisis, Congress passed the Aldrich-Vreeland Act on May 30th, 1908. The legislation provided for the issuance of emergency currency and created the 18-member National Monetary Commission, chaired by Senator Nelson Aldrich, to determine what changes were necessary to the nation's monetary system and laws related to a banking currency. I mean, it's just absolutely horrible. But look at this. Another investment, Paul Walburg. Again of the Walburg family. There he is. That's him then. The family that pretty much owns Europe is what they are. So they were all in on it. It's a rich, powerful elite, literally lining their own pockets and getting rid of the plebs, if you like. That's pretty much what they called it. So there we go. As there wasn't really too much in Bitcoin history today, apart from obviously we had back on the 6th of January 2021, Craig won the Ira Kleiman court case, where they recognised that he was the sole and rightful owner of the Satoshi coins. That was kind of indirectly what the ruling was. And again, this is why Bitcoin is so important, because we either have a common money used by the people to create government that works for the people, or government will create currency to control the people. These are the only outcomes that we have available to us. Bitcoin, that's why Bitcoin is so important, and it all stemmed from this one act that they signed into law on this day back in 1930. Oh, what are we now? 2023. So that is 110 years ago. Exactly 110 years ago to the day. My goodness me, there we go. So that is your little bit of Bitcoin history for today. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.